but I've been a CEO for almost 40 years. And I started when I was 8 with a lawn mowing business, and did that all growing up to make money. Mowed 10 lawns a week for 10 years. And I really only worked for somebody else for 2 years, my first 2 years out of college. So I went from CEO to analyst, back to CEO again. I started a couple of different companies actually while I was in college. I started a window washing company. I started an advertising company, so I made coupon books and sold them to students. I did Greek telephone directories.
We would valet cars for work. We would do anything we could do, and then Wil started a company at TCU called the Horned Frog Window Cleaning. We just started knocking on doors, and we charged people to clean the windows inside and out in their houses.
Basically, I'd go out and I'd get the jobs, and then I'd hire my fraternity brothers. I'd be charged about $35 an hour to wash windows, and I'd pay my fraternity brothers $10 an hour, and I'd pocket the difference. It was a pretty good gig. I got my boss at Kidder one day. She said, "Go write me a report on private equity." So I literally picked up the phone. It was NCAP, it was NGP, it was Yorktown. It was part of Dillon Reed at the time. First Reserve, Warburg Pincus, and then Enron Capital and Trade. Those were really the 6 groups that were doing energy, either private equity or mezzanine type investing back then. So I went and met with all of them, and I was just so fascinated. I mean, immediately I was like, this is what I want to do. So actually the original business plan for when I left Kidder was not to go start a finance company or investment bank. It was actually go start an oil and gas company. And we call it the Windrock Group. So after about 6 months of people looking at me like I was crazy, like, we were trying to buy properties in the Gulf of Mexico. So imagine 2 24-year-old kids walking into Chevron and Exxon and saying, "I'd like to go buy this big platform producing 10,000 barrels a day in the Gulf of Mexico." They kind of laughed us out of their office. So I converted Windrock Group into Windrock Capital and went out and started calling on oil and gas entrepreneurs. And we'd go into these entrepreneurs' offices and say, "Hey, we can go raise you some money. How does that sound?" Well, they were all like, "Well, it sounds great. Come on." And so we literally got in a car. We kind of had our original business strategy was, let's go to where the New York bankers won't go. So we went to places like Midland and Shreveport and New Orleans and Tulsa, and that's where we went and looked for our clients.
I became aware of Wil VanLoh through Toby Nagelbauer. Toby married a girl in Albany that happened to be the daughter of one of my best friends. And I'd met Toby, but then along with it, I got to meet Wil VanLoh.
We were out there hunting and talking about what we did, and he said, "Well," he goes, "you guys should bring," because we were only taking deals of these 6 private equity shops, and he said, "Well, you guys should bring me a deal. Bring me a deal next time you're raising money." And so we said, "Great, we'll bring you a deal." We honestly didn't think he'd ever do it, but
they tell the story that they were afraid to bring me a deal, afraid it would fail, and then they'd have to answer to the father-in-law. So anyway, one thing led to another, and they did bring me a deal. It's called BC Operating out in Midland.
And 2 guys, Mike Black and Lee Crump, who we're still in business with today, literally 22 years later. We sold that within a little over a year later, made a fantastic profit, and AV said, "Gosh, I love this, let's do some more of this."
They said, "We ought to go raise some money." Said, "You don't realize it. You think you're a geologist, but you're really a venture capitalist." So after some negotiations with them, I said, "Yeah, let's give it a try. Let's see if we can raise some money."
I think AV gave Toby and I 2 really important things. He gave us obviously capital, but he also gave us his credibility. And one of those things, there's a few things in life you look back and you're like, man, that was something I don't know if I can ever repay, and that was one of them. Our first 10 years in business was about building a foundation of kind of core investment principles and tenets.
He had a ton of passion for the value system of stewarding capital for pensioners. Ultimately that's who owns our firm.
That's something the very first day someone comes to work here, we make sure they understand is we work for public servants, firemen, teachers. Those are our clients, and we have a huge responsibility to be a steward of their capital.
The leadership which Dee and Wil provide is as good as it gets, I think. And their reputation in the industry is extremely high, and it's high both from the funder side and from the entrepreneurial side.
Well, when I first saw their track record for the first time in 2008, I had never seen a track record as strong as Quantum's. And that includes across other funds. At this point, it was, who are these kids in their 30s that have created this unbelievable track record?
It was in 2005, so probably 3 years after. And our 2002, the Quantum 2 fund, I think, was already valued at like more than 4 times and more than 170% IRR. So those are numbers you just very, very rarely see.
I think one of the things that you have to really take your hat off to Wil is the quality of the organization he's built. All aspects of Quantum are, frankly, of the highest quality. The people people he's attracted to the firm, the quality of the teams that he backs, the people he does business with, it's really remarkable. It's why the firm has been as successful as it has been.
God gives, if he gives you the skill, like I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a financier, he's given me a lot of skills, and I can use those to just make money, okay? I got more money than I'll ever be able to spend, and it'd be stupid for me just to give it to my kids. So what am I going to do with it? I want to try to better people's lives with it.
2015, I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, and it was obviously a very impactful thing in my life. And he has been incredibly proactive in helping me through my health journey, and offered me, unlimited support and helping me, find doctors and find care. And that was just above and beyond the call of duty. And I think it shows the type of person he is.
The thing that Wil became passionate about early on is called family legacy out in Zambia. Wil has built a number of the facilities out there single-handedly through his charitable gifts. And he and his wife and daughters, I don't know how many years they've been going there, and they go there every summer for several weeks at a time.
I'll never forget our first trip over there, and one of my daughters said, Dad, these people have nothing, like literally have nothing. They subside on less than $1, exist on less than $1 a day. And she said, but they all had a joy that we don't see like in our friends, here in America. And so that was one of the really cool things for our kids, was seeing that and then realizing that, okay, we get what you and Mom are saying now. We got a responsibility to help other people too.
If there's one thing I'd say about their philanthropy, is it's not simply limited to writing checks. It's not simply limited to spending time for 3 hours in one place. But it's about taking that and inspiring others around them. And I think that shows the genuineness of their passion for that part of their lives.
And it actually changes not only the people's lives, not only the kids' lives, but the people's lives who go in Zambia. It had a profound impact on my kids, which I'm extremely thankful for. Wil had a car. He had an old Mustang, and in the wintertime, the car basically, it was so old and run down that he literally, like an Ace Ventura pet detective, we both had to hang our heads out the window because the exhaust would come through the air conditioning system.
We had a client up there, a company called Savoy Oil and Gas from Traverse City, Michigan. And we were heading out to go see First Reserve, and I think they were out in Connecticut somewhere. So I left the meeting a little early. I said, I'll go down and get our rental car, come back and pick you guys up in about 10 minutes. So I went down to the Hertz thing and sitting there trying to rent a car, and they looked at my driver's license and they said, "Sir, we can't rent you a car." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Well, you have to be 25 in the state of New York to rent a car." Like, oh my gosh.
So he comes in, it's early September, and he says, "Man, did you guys see that Michigan-Ohio State game? That was an incredible game." And we all kind of look at each other like, that game's not happening this time of year. And we said, "Well, were you watching ESPN Classic?" And I don't think he knew that's sort of how he had seen that game. And so there was a huge eruption, and obviously we've given him a hard time about that over the years.
When we were raising Fund 2, I decided to get braces. And so I went and got braces, which made, I already looked like I was about 18 before that, and then I looked like I was about 12. But the funniest thing in the world was, about 2 months later, AV shows up in braces.
The guys, when we went around to call on people, they said, "What in the world you got those braces on for 65 years old?" And I said, "I don't know, but they hurt."
2 of the 3 guys at Quantum, this 65-year-old guy has braces, and this 12-year-old guy has braces, and then the other partner was bald, and so we were definitely a motley crew walking into people trying to. Fortunately, our numbers were really good.
As an industry leader, both in private equity and in energy, getting a Lifetime Achievement Award means you've been doing things the right way for a long time. And Wil, that certainly fits your pistol.
Wil, congratulations on receiving this Lifetime Achievement Award. It's well deserved based on the many, many accomplishments that you've delivered over the years. But I think it's fair to say on behalf of most of us is that we truly expect there's many, many more to come, and we look forward to that.
Wil, congratulations on receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award. Since it took only the first 20 years of your business career to attain this recognition, I assume this means you can receive it at least once more.
So Wil, congratulations. This is a Lifetime Achievement Award, but being that you're 48 years old, I'm not so sure, maybe this is the Lifetime Achievement Award for phase 1. There's a lot more to do that I know you've got plans for, and we all have plans for.
Success isn't just about building a company or making money. It's about the culture you create and how you give back. And I would say you've done these well. So congratulations, and I couldn't be more proud of you.
Wil, I'm proud to be a part of this Lifetime Achievement Award that you've been given. Certainly, I think you deserve it, so there's not any question about that. It's been my pleasure to be involved with you and your family for some 20 years. Keep up the good work, and congratulations.
I'd like to thank my 2 original partners in Quantum, AV Jones and Toby Nagelbauer. You guys, couldn't have done it without you guys. AV, thank you for giving Toby and I a chance, putting your reputation and your capital behind us, and just being an amazing partner for so many years. Toby, man, I just think back to all the great times we had in building Windrock and Quantum, and my partners today, I've got a great set of partners and colleagues here at Quantum. Dee and Jim and Gary, Bill, Chuck and Jeffrey, you guys are the best partners a guy could ask for. You guys, in so many ways, y'all make me better. You are incredible thought partners. You're great people, and just so enjoy being with you guys every day. To the rest of my colleagues here at Quantum, there's so many unsung heroes here. I want to thank our investors. We have so many investors that put their faith in us early on. Thank you all. And we have investors that just came into our fund this year, and thank you all. That's why we exist. We exist to be good stewards of your capital. So thank you for the trust you put in us. To our portfolio companies, man, I think over the years, so many amazing relationships that I have formed with the management teams of our portfolio companies. You guys are why we're successful. I want to say the biggest heartfelt thank you to my family. Jennifer, you have been the most amazing partner in life. You've been there for me through all the great times and the tough times. You've been so supportive. You've been so encouraging, and candidly, you've been my best counselor, throughout all the ups and downs. I tell people all the time that you are the most wise person I know, and all the tough decisions at Quantum I talk to you about. So thank you for always being there for me. To my 3 girls, Grace, Sarah, and Mary, wow, I'm just so blessed to have you all as my daughters. You all have inspired me. You've encouraged me. You've been understanding sometimes when I've been tough to deal with or haven't been around. So you guys have you put up with a lot. Thank you. You know, I do this for you all and for my wife. So just love you all so much, and I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you very much for being there for me for all these years.